Hey, deserving listeners, Love is Blind, Season 9. Let's check it out.
So you remember I told you that like my parents aren't from America, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I was younger, I mean, that was like an insecurity of mine. It's like I was like literally the only person like that in class.
I would just think that when you're younger, Patrick, he's 31, you just think like that would be over in the United States when, of course, it is not. I'm guessing wherever he grew up in Colorado or whatever, you know. Ugh. So, yeah. Now, having said all that, I think a good portion of my development of my perspective and my personality and my approach to society is due to the fact that I was always identified as being different. I always felt different, but it wasn't overall a negative thing given my family and the people around me and the love and the security that I received. But anyway, so he's revealing that. And I think he's a little tentative because he knows he's not supposed to talk about anything that will point to what he looks like, right?
I don't mind sharing with you.
Okay.
Do you think I should share it with you?
Yeah, I think you should.
Like my ethnicity?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So these two are getting along, Casey and Patrick. So on the charitable side, she is asking because she's like, hey, you know, I'm open and I'm not racist, or I like you for who you are and feel free to talk about whatever you want to, or I welcome that conversation or whatever. Or she's asking, I'm guessing people might, onlookers, the audience might wonder if she's trying to figure out if he's a non-white person so she can reject him. But she already knows that his parents are from another country. But that can mean a lot of things. It could be like Britain or something. She is asking that, and I think that's against the rules, so to speak. Yeah, I think there's a gray zone there. There's like wiggle room. It's not like you're going to get kicked out of the show if you ask or reveal this kind of information. And, you know, it's just so illuminating to white privilege, because if you're white and you code as white talking through the wall, then you don't even have to think about this, right? If you are white, also, you aren't likely to think that you're going to be turned down just because of your ethnicity. It's just a sad fucking world that we live in, is it not?
I think you should.
Like my ethnicity?
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, it would be good if Casey were to give him an option, say, you don't have to if you don't want to, or this is why I'm curious, this is why I'm asking, or, you know, you can say anything you want. I don't care because I like you for who you are. So it doesn't really matter what you say in terms of what your ethnicity is. Something. So the way she's asking is making him uncomfortable, which is making me uncomfortable.
Well.
Or where are your parents from?
Yeah. Well. Let me think this through for a second.
Okay.
Now, I guess there's a chance that given her whiteness that she just wouldn't know those worries that someone would have. It'd be hard to imagine that you wouldn't know at least some of it. So I'm not a fan of, unless she is at least coming from a good place of just like, look, I'm trying to show him that I don't care where he's from. That is not a thing with me. Yeah, I could see that.
I'm wondering why you're so hesitant.
About it?
Mm-hmm.
You're wondering? You're wondering. Like I said, when you have white privilege, you don't know because you haven't experienced it. But there's a lot of things we don't know because we haven't experienced it. I am not a woman. I haven't experienced sexism or the annoyance and the violence of the patriarchy. And yet, I can relate. It's not hard to understand, especially when you look at the data, listen to stories, think for half a second, even investigate your own attitudes. So privilege does not mean ignorance. Privilege doesn't mean that it's a blind spot. Also, I don't understand. I'm going to rewind this because I've been yammering so much. But it almost seems like she's annoyed or something, but I could be reading that wrong.
My dad and my stepmom are very attracted to each other. So my dad, one of his biggest concerns was like, good luck, because like attraction and passion is very important, and you're about to get yourself into something that you can't see them.
Okay, so rewinding it, knowing where this ends up, I don't know if this was shenanigans. I'll try to look for signs of editing. I mean, obviously there's editing, but I don't know if they were matching these two conversations up together. But anyway, the conversation starts with her talking about how important attraction is. And she's asking him, is attraction important to you? And she's saying, yeah, for me, it also was. I don't know if she's saying, I don't want to rely on that as much anymore. I think maybe both of them. I think a lot of the cast would say that, right?
And you don't want to share with me?
I don't mind sharing with you.
So in terms of the edit, anyway, he is bringing up that he's not from the United States originally, or his parents aren't from the United States, because it's, at least in the edit, related to the attraction conversation. So if that's true, then you would think that she would track that. He literally just said it was an insecurity of his. And if she were tracking that, you'd think she would ask in a more careful way, or at least in a less pressury way.
Do you think I should share it with you?
Yeah, I think you should.
Like my ethnicity?
I would imagine, who knows, that most of his hesitancy here is that he's worried about getting in trouble. From my understanding, and from my behind-the-scenes person that works for this, and I actually just emailed her, and she says she did work on this season. I didn't ask her any details. I will after I watch a few episodes and say, okay, I'm up to this point in the story, like up until the point where they go to the getaway. And what can you tell me? But I've learned from her and also from others that the way that they tell the cast members about what the parameters are isn't heavy-handed necessarily. Now, every season has a different approach. They learn. There are different contracts, I'm guessing. There's also 2 different crews that actually work on different seasons. There's, 2 completely different directors and, all their workers and stuff, because, the way that the company Kinetic, who's hired, anyway. So I imagine that what they're told is not something like, if you tell what your ethnicity is, then you're out of the show and you'll be fined $50,000. From my understanding, it's not like that. So they're not only not wanting to get in trouble, maybe, but they also want to follow the experiment. I think they're really sold on the idea. There's probably a lot of talk, and obviously they want to go on the show, and if they're legitimately looking for someone, then they might legitimately want to keep it a clean experience where I want to fall in love with someone without knowing what they look like and without them knowing what I look like. I want to fall in love with the soul or the personality or whatever. And I do not want that to get messed up, because if it gets messed up, it's going to screw it over. And then why did I do this for 10 days? So it could be something like that. It also could be that he's insecure, as he's talking about, and he's worried he's going to lose her or something, And I guess I should say, and if you know this, but I'll just briefly say that there's a conversation among Asian American men that we are often not sexualized. Like with Asian American women, they're often exoticized and sexualized and assumed that they're going to be subservient and good in bed or whatever like this. And, it's a ridiculous stereotype that doesn't hold true for that group, because it doesn't hold true for any group of women, because there's literally billions of Asian American women around the world. And what do we mean by Asian American? Everyone from Laos to Mongolia to Japan to India to, it's like they're all Asian. It's like everyone's the same anyway. So there's a conversation among Asian American men, I don't know how prevalent it is today, but that they will lament that no one wants to be with them. No one lusts after them. Even Asian American women don't lust after them. They lust after other ethnicities. They're considered feminine or not strong or not ideal or something. And a lot of Asian American men, not a lot, but some might say, well, it'd be fine if Asian American women were treated the same way, then at least Asian American women would want to be with us. But that's not the case. It's almost the reverse. They are sexualized, and so people want to be with them. And we're over here alone. Black women have a similar, not all obviously, but there's a similar conversation, right? And so I don't know if he's coming from that place, because I don't know, I'm a cishet dude, but he's not ugly. I don't know if he's super hot, but he's perfectly doable. So I wonder if he has experienced that. I also just wonder about his history, because I think there's another, at least half. I've been wondering if he was half. He could be full. So I get messed up sometimes. Some fullies look halfies and some halfies look fullies. Some nonnies look quarteries, and so this is just, anyway, let's watch.
Well.
Or where are your parents from?
Yeah.
Yeah, watching it again, I thought I would tone down, but I'm toning up. She seems annoyed. Why are you annoyed?
I'm wondering why you're so hesitant.
About it?
Mm-hmm.
Again, it could be edited funny, but he literally just said he's insecure. So maybe that's the answer.
I just don't want to be judged for it,
Okay.
But I can share it.
So that would be Casey's cue to say, I'm not, oh my God, no, I would never, the fact that she doesn't say something there, either she doesn't care about people, I don't know. Why would you not? It's so strange.
Yeah, so my parents are, so my parents are from South Asia.
Okay.
But I'm half Chinese, half Cambodian.
Half Chinese, half Cambodian. As a halfie myself, I'm always curious about this sort of thing. Okay. Half Chinese, Cambodian.
Have you ever dated an Asian guy before?
No, I haven't. What? I'm just being honest.
No, that's fair. I'm just curious.
Well, I'm sorry you feel hesitant telling people that.
What the fuck? Just talk. I don't know what's going through her head, but it looks like some of the dumbest, most ignorant white privilege. This is 2020. Okay, it's filmed 2024. I was going to say it's 2025. It's 2024, and you're confused about racism? Oh no. Is she in an echo chamber? Is this some kind of bone that she is picking where she knows, oh, I know the liberal, what I was going to say is there are people that will be in an echo chamber and have motivated reasoning, and politicians that will say this stuff of just racism doesn't exist. If anything, it's white people are being oppressed, and therefore when non-white people are complaining or worried, it's all just virtue signaling, or they've been brainwashed by the left, or I'm saying nothing about Kate. She has said next to nothing, which says something, but I don't know what it says. I'm just confused why she's confused.
Oh, I haven't. What? I'm just being honest.
No, that's fair. I'm just curious.
It's fine that she said that. She hasn't dated an Asian guy. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean she's racist at all. So that point is not an issue.
Well, I'm sorry you feel hesitant telling people that.
Okay, we were watching it. I'm at least hoping that what she's saying, what she's trying to say is, you have nothing to worry about with me. But she doesn't know how to say that. Crossing my fingers, that's what she's saying.
People say, Asian guys aren't the most attractive guys.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I was saying earlier. I don't know if that's what he's referring to, but as an Asian, half Asian guy myself, I'm not full Asian, so there's that. But I don't know. I never had that perspective. Maybe I got turned down when I was young because of it. I don't know. But I do have full Asian friends who will have conversations with me about it. And according to their experience, they do experience that. It's hard to know, though, right? If you are hitting on someone and they turn you down, I mean, unless they say explicitly, it's because you're Asian, which would almost never happen, right? I'm sure it does happen. But, you know, in the course of pursuing and ghosting and dating and stuff, there's that. I also sometimes wondered about my Asian American male friends who would say this sort of thing, and I wondered if it was an easy thing to grab onto that would explain their insecurity or would give them an excuse to give up on dating, maybe. I don't know. Is it a thing? Yes, it's definitely a thing. It's not hard to imagine. And you hear these kinds of statements.
And I've had people say that.
Say that they're not attracted to you because you're Asian.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like, oh, you're pretty good looking for an Asian guy, though.
I was wondering if he would say something that would either hint at that or would be on purpose or on accident, because that would be the question if you're Casey. If you don't know what he looks like and he's saying I'm Asian and he has struggled dating-wise, you think, well, is it because he's Asian or is it because he's not great looking? And then he said, which I'm laughing because that might be nice for Casey to hear, right? I don't know if Casey's going to be attracted to him, but he just sort of hinted like, well, I'm a good looking guy, but people don't want to be with me because I'm Asian.
How much that hurts. I'll have a really deep emotional connection with somebody. Like this is like in college or whatever. And they're like, yeah, but he's Asian. Like, why would you date an Asian guy, you know?
Of course, I know racism is here to stay. But it's just disheartening to see young people still experiencing that. Of course, I know. All I can say is come to Seattle, go to the University of Washington, go to UCLA. You're not going to find that will happen because 60% of the students are Asians. So, you know, any white person who's racist against Asians is, they're going to have a hard time finding someone to, you know, roll around with.
Just a normal guy from Colorado. I'm a complete Colorado bro.
Okay, from that, it sounds like maybe he came from a smaller community, which would at least stereotypically increase the likelihood of silly racism, as if any racism is silly, but, you know, that kind of racism. And I should say that I don't know the percentage of Asian students at the University of Washington in Seattle, but it's a lot. I don't know if it's 60%.
They automatically, by looking at you, put you in a box.
Yes.
I mean, I just want you to know I have never dated an Asian guy, but it doesn't change anything for me.
Okay, Casey, lead with that. Just mention that at the beginning. That's what I was hoping was at the basis. And even with that, even if all that is true and her heart was in the right place, it still screams white privilege because she was hanging him out to dry for a while, right? When all she had to do was say something at the beginning. You know, that's one of the things that you have to learn when you have privilege is that you can't just operate based on how things feel to you. You have to know that there are times when other people are experiencing things, you know, in relation to you maybe, that you wouldn't intuit because you haven't been through it. That rhymed.
Awesome. We're like baby seals. like
as an example, especially in the beginning of my life, I was asked all the time, where are you from? When people ask me that today, it doesn't bother me that much, but if I just went with my gut, I would throttle the next person that asked me that question because I've been asked thousands of times. And I'm usually being asked by someone that in all likelihood, I am more from this land than they are because my Japanese American ancestors were farmers in Washington State in the early 20th century. And my white ancestors were farmers in Kansas, came to Washington State in the 40s, 30s. So when people ask me where I'm from, I'm just like, where the fuck are you from? you know, and this assumption of being a foreigner and, you know, say like, I'm from Seattle. No. Where are your parents from? Spokane, Washington. Oh, where are their parents from? Kansas and Yakima, Washington. Well, where are their, you know, it's just like, shut the fuck up. Now, they're not asking a horrible question. It's not a racist question. People will say that sometimes, but it's an ignorant question, and it's a question of coming from white privilege that you wouldn't know what it's like to be a non-white person and be constantly asked, where are you from? Particularly Asian Americans, right? And that's just a small example that most people know. I think this was another example that we wouldn't hear about very often, but the way she was asking and the tone of voice and everything, if she does care about him, which I think she does, and she was trying to exhibit that she doesn't care, and she truly doesn't care about ethnicity, then you would know to account for something that you wouldn't intuit by saying, you know what, there's a chance that this, even just me asking these questions, would be worrisome and hurtful to him. So I should get out ahead of that and say, by the way, you know, I'm only asking, or don't feel pressure from me to answer the question, but I just want to tell you where I'm coming from, something like that. All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. Thanks for joining me and everyone out there. In the interim, until the next time, take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do. You do.